Good morning. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance for Saturday. Windy Saturday here. Not sure about by you, but quite gusty here. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist. Here with some words of wisdom for our day. And as you can see behind me, whoops, wrong way. I've got my flip screen on. Yay! Things are getting real. Here, let me show you a little more. Piles and piles and piles of stuff. In terms of getting, good morning, Joe. Welcome, welcome. In terms of getting ready to relocate. So we'll see how this goes. I'm sore today. Too much lifting of boxes. So I'm happy to sit here with all of you and have some conversation. One way, albeit, but feel free to put some comments in the messages. So our card deck today, I handpicked this one. I was just in the mood for a Nature Portals card. Bruce and Carol Malner. And in fact, the picture on the cover is our card for today. There we are. So I'm just going to show it to you so you can, I love that flight, that sense of flight there. Just aloft and light and able to move easily. I actually saw a moth the other day. It is still cold here, but there was a moth fluttering around. And I thought, wow. Okay, spring is maybe really going to show up. So our card for today is Celebrate Transformation. And there's all kinds of transformations going on right now. And hopefully in us celebrating them today, we become more aware of them. Because a lot of times we can zoom on past them without really appreciating them and allowing them to register. Tickly throat today, so. Okay, so let's take some nice deep breaths. And maybe just look at the picture, settling into this beautiful image. And you may pick the flower, you may pick the butterfly, whatever draws your attention the most. And just breathe deeply and easily, becoming at one with the world, becoming at one with this image, allowing. All right, so now let's see what it has to tell us. A butterfly undergoes a series of remarkable transformations, from an egg to a caterpillar to a chrysalis, and finally emerging as an adult butterfly. Transformations are happening in nature every day. They may not be as dramatic as the butterfly's process, yet these changes are worthy of your appreciation and celebration. Find a place in nature that you can return to week after week. Keep a journal, using words or sketches to record the changes you observe. Over time, you'll discover many opportunities to celebrate nature's transformations and probably some of your own transformations too. The quote is by Marianne Broussard. Nature often holds up a mirror so we can see more clearly the ongoing processes of growth, renewal, and transformation in our lives. So even when things feel very stuck or may feel dead, there's still transformation going on. Even if it's just the breakdown of the old, that is transformation. So think about, I've been appreciating this as I'm packing things up to move, having been here 7 years. Yesterday's appreciation was I was walking TJ around the property and looking at things, and there are some, when I got here, there's a little planter, one of those wooden planters that runs the length of the deck in back, and there were some itty bitty little blue spruce in there. And so when they got a little too crowded in there, that's sort of where Pat had put them to keep them safe as they were getting established. I then teased them apart and put them at various places around the property. I think 2 of them didn't make it, but of the other 5, there's one that I just unwittingly planted near enough to the septic system that it is now probably 3.5 feet high and maybe 4 feet around. Beautiful little tree, beautiful little tree. What a transformation from this little bitty stick thing to this very pretty tree. What about for you? I want you to think about your living situation, your circumstances. Even if you're in an apartment, do you have a plant, a house plant? Do you have an animal that you've watched change from puppy or kitty or whatever variation thereof to a full-grown animal? The transformations are all around us. Again, we don't necessarily pay attention. Bananas ripening in the fruit bowl, that's transformation. Looking outside right now, the snow is pretty much gone. We're still getting a few little dustings here and there, and there are the berms of snow from the plow, but pretty much gone. I walked around the corner the other direction, and there's the one lone tulip that was planted probably by grandkids of the people who own this before. Good morning, Arlene. Glad to have you here. And I keep wandering out to the planter that's underneath the Hillcrest Motel sign because I have planted a whole bunch of tulips in there, waiting to see some green popping out. Those aren't up quite yet, but the one around the corner of the motel is up about this far. So transformation. What about for you? As you look at your life, can you allow yourself to appreciate some of the transformations that you've gone through? Like Arlene, one for you was retirement, going from being an educator to being retired and picking up the things that maybe you didn't have time for when you were an educator. There's all manner of things. My sister's about to hit 1 year of retirement and looking at the things that she's accomplished. I'm looking at the things she's accomplished. She, on the other hand, is too busy looking at what she hasn't gotten done. And I'm like, for Pete's sake, you've bailed out from under 35 years of paperwork. That right there is a huge accomplishment. So what transformation would you like to witness next in your life? Just going to let that sit there for a minute. What kind of transformation would you like to witness next in your life? And to pull from some of our previous YEMIGs, it is limitless. The infinite possibilities are there. We may limit. We say, well, I'm too this, or I'm too that, or I'm too old, I'm not enough, I don't have enough energy anymore, yada, yada, yada. That's the story we're telling ourselves. And argue for your limitations and you get to keep them. I don't know whose quote that was, but I love that one. Argue for your limitations and you get to keep them. If there's something that you wish to transform into, it's never too late. I love collecting those stories of those who really found their second wind in their 60s, 70s, 80s. Colonel Sanders didn't start doing his chicken thing until he was retired. Grandma Moses didn't start painting until she was well into, I think she was in her 70s. There's still time, space, and energy for the things about which we feel passionate. It can also be a time of transformation in terms of letting go of what we no longer feel passion toward. And I think that's what one of the gifts of the COVID crisis. How many people got to the point where they said, I'm not willing to do this anymore. I am not willing to hemorrhage my precious time into a job I don't like. I am not willing to keep doing these, obligations that I somehow took on that I really don't enjoy and don't want to do. Releasing all of that with love, blessing it on its way, and stepping more into the open field of infinite possibility. What would I like to take on? What would I like to do? So I am discovering that as I am packing, one of the things that I will be doing when I get to my dad's is going through everything again and making yet another purge. My sister just told me that her church, when they have their community rummage sale, which I think is in the fall, does a book sale. So she said usually they open it up for dropping things off in July. And I'm like, bingo, perfect timing. I know I kept way too many books as I packed to move, and they are now sitting in my dad's warehouse. But I can go over there at any point, go through a box and say, yeah, I'm ready to be blessing these books on their way to the next person who will benefit from them. I love books. It's hard to let go of books. But that will be part of my summer project. I have many summer projects. Just getting down to a point where things are much more manageable. We have all these things in our lives, and they're meant to enhance our lives, but in some way we cross lines with that and they become burdensome. And we have to, I don't know if you ever heard, let me think, his name will come to me, comedian, he's deceased now, but he did a great riff on stuff and hauling our stuff around, and that we make special containers just to haul our stuff and store our stuff. And yeah, so he saw the comedy and the irony of that. So I'm definitely seeing the irony. Not sure I'm to the comedy point yet, but we'll get there. George Carlin. There we go. I knew it would come. All right. So anyway, today we're celebrating transformation. Let's celebrate all the transformations we have already gone through. Let's also celebrate the transformations we're in right now. COVID has created many transformations for us. Let's also celebrate for the transformations to come. They're on their way to us. When we're open to receiving, they will present themselves. Those who struggle with change, I'd really like to encourage you to practice being in flow, being in that state of allowing, because change happens. It happens. And if you resist change, it's going to make life far more difficult, which it doesn't need to be, Being in flow with things makes the unfolding so much easier. I have a few things going on here at the motel as I'm preparing to leave and the new owners are preparing to step in, that initially made me say, why now? Why do I have to deal with this now? Then stepping into, okay, here it is, divine right timing. It's showing up for a reason. There's things I'm meant to learn from this. I'm going to step into that flow. So I've been practicing an image, and if you want to practice the image with me, that would be awesome. So standing at the end of a dirt road, and there is a river running across the road, going past. And in my image, there isn't a bridge. You could have a bridge in yours if you wish, but it's like the road dead ends at the river. And it's the river of life. And I'm meant to go into that river. And so I wade into the river, and it's moving swiftly. It's not a raging torrent, but it's moving swiftly. And so I just kind of settle down, bend my knees and settle down till the water's about here, and I just allow it to take me. And I'm bobbing along in the water, and I'm observing what's going by, and I'm looking at the rocks, and I can move around them. And periodically, as I'm imaging this over the course of the last several days, instead of being in the water, I'm in a boat with a paddle, so I can move around the rocks, I can maneuver. Sometimes I'm just in the water, though, bobbing along, allowing it to take me where I'm meant to go, see the scenery I'm meant to see. It's just kind of a cool thing to practice. It helps let go of that tension that we often carry around what's going to hit me next. So if you want to practice that image with me, it'd be fun to share that together. And your river can be however your river is. Then again, maybe you have a bridge. Mine didn't, but that's okay. Sometimes you may have a boat, sometimes you may not. It's like a dream. All manner of things that don't seem to happen in our earth walk can happen in our dreams, which is cool. So again, we are celebrating transformation. Nature often holds up a mirror so we can more clearly see the ongoing processes of growth, renewal, and transformation in our lives. And how perfect is this card for Holy Week? Absolutely perfect. Culminating in Easter. So, have an awesome day. I will see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow, let's see, I will be heading out early, so it'll probably be a pretty early YEMIG, just so you know. Enjoy your day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are, including ongoing transformation. Bye-bye.